Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda and this is Nepwood at Home. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you are brand new, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. So, and today we are going to be discussing Kemple glass, also known as the John E. Kemple Glassworks. Now, just kind of a brief history. The pieces that I have are actually pieces that were made in the 1950s-ish through to 1970. And I'll explain more, but the patterns originally came from another company. He likes to play fetch. So, okay, so to kind of start us off, John and Geraldine Kemple met during World War II, and in 1945, they formed their glass company. Like I said, the John E. Kemple Glassworks. Now, when they met, John, who was a fifth-generation glass maker, had at one point worked for Fenton Glass, and Geraldine, she had been in advertising, and she owned her own gift shop. So it's kind of an interesting romance there to get somebody who was familiar with advertising, someone who was in glass making, and then kind of combine their forces, so to speak. So this all started in East Palestine, Ohio. And so in 1945, they sold the gift shop, and then they used that to help finance what would become their glass company. Now, with an eye to the future, literally a year before they formed their glass company, they had already purchased several hundred molds from the Mannington Art Glass Company of West Virginia. Now, most of these were like little novelty items, trinkets, jewelry, trinket boxes, jewelry boxes, candlestick holders, that sort of thing. And these were all dated back to like the 1800s. Now, what's interesting about some of these is that some of these had been originally used by Dithridge Glass Company, as well as Gillinder and Sons. So I think that's really interesting that here are these, if you're familiar with glass at all, or milk glass, those are a couple of big names. So like I said, many of these were antique molds, and these were actually molds that were used to kind of dupe the look of cut glass, which was way more costly to make than pressed glass. So they're mostly pressed glass molds. So that's how they began their business, was with those molds. Well, in 1946, they bought many more molds from a Mr. Tuska of New York. These patterns included Lace and Dewdrop, Ivy and Snow, Moon and Star variant, and most of those molds can be traced back to the cooperative Flint Glass Company, as well as the Wilson Glass Company, it's suspected. Okay, so during the 1950s, they procured another 300 molds from McKee Glass Company, and those are the molds that we'll be talking about, because that's the pattern that I have from Kemple. And a lot of times you'll see it labeled, if you're looking in different on different websites, WorthPoint, of course, for prices, or even like eBay, it'll say Kemple McKee or McKee Kemple. That's because Kemple bought those molds originally used by McKee. So the molds that they purchased, of course, 300 of them, but in my case, the important ones are the Prescott series, which included, let me read this off to you because it's like several names: Aztec, Bondtec, Carltec, Martec, Plutec, Quintec, Sextec, Toltec, Voltec, and Utec, which was the most popular of those patterns. So of course you will see McKee actually had made these, and then now Kemple has purchased those molds, and so now they're making those patterns. Well, the 1950s was probably their heyday, I would guess, is what it sounds like. They were pretty, between 60s and 50s and 60s, seemed like it was quite their heyday. In 1956, the glassworks building was destroyed by fire, and that prompted them to move the company to Canova, West Virginia. Between 1945 and 1970, they made and sold their reproduction pieces. Sometimes they added a case, sometimes they did not, to let people know that they were reproductions. However, they always put a label on their pieces so that people knew that they were reproductions of another company's molds. But yeah, so they had made, you know, in the course of that time frame, they had made a lot of reproductions. Well, in 1970, John passed away. He had been ill for a couple of years, and while his wife had taken care of the business, she'd also take care of him. Once he passed, she did decide to go ahead and close the business and retire, and she sold around 800 molds to the Wheaton Historical Association, and they continued to reproduce the reproductions as Wheatonware. And initially it just had on there that they were a Kemple collectible item, or Kemple collectibles or something like that. They produced them in many colors, and they were actually sold, as like I said, as Wheatonware, and much like tiara glass, they were sold at home parties, so kind of like your Tupperware. And they actually came in a wide variety of colors, like I said, everything from clear to every color in between. There was like an aqua color, there was like several different shades of like honey, ambery kind of colors, so very cool. So because they were initially marketed as Kemple collectibles, they had like the K on them, like the Kemple K. However, they did add a small W at Mrs. Kemple's request, so that would further distinguish them from the Kemple pieces made during their time from 1945 to 1970. So now when the company, so there was a little bit of, it's kind of hard to say. So I had two different dates for when the mold stopped being used. One was 1975, the other was 1979. So as to which one's right, I don't honestly know. I was alive in 1975. I was born in 75, but I was a baby. And by 1979, I wasn't much older. So I don't really know, but from 1979, we know that they have been in storage, and as far as anyone knows, they have not been reproduced. So I think that's really interesting that the Wheaton company came in and they were like, oh, we're gonna reproduce your reproductions. So yeah. So like I said, the pieces that I have go back to the McKee time, and they are from the press cut series. So I will show you what I have. Most of what I have is Toltec. I do have one Vaultec piece, and yeah, and it's also interesting too, because kind of like with the Indiana glass, how there was like different shades of white. You'll notice that with these as well. So again, I don't know, and I can't tell by looking at them if these are actually Kemple pieces or McKee pieces, but I thought it was kind of a fun story anyway with the whole Kemple thing. Because I mean, hello, you meet your sweetheart during the war, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, you start a business together. Very romantic. But then I also have a piece of Westmoreland I'm going to show you, because these pieces remind me so much of this Westmoreland. So this is my first piece of Toltec. Is that pretty? I love this pattern. And these are also sturdy. And again, for my people who do not care for the grape pattern, I think you'll like this one. But again, very similar to the Windburn, I think. Especially when you see this one. This one is the Vaultec, and it has, you know, it has that softly sawtooth edge. It's very, very beautiful. It's a gorgeous little like medallion there. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Okay. That one is my only piece of Vaultec. I will go ahead and show you the Westmoreland piece just so you can kind of see it. But see, again, it has that kind of soft sawtooth edge. And then if you look at these pieces here and like little other ones, they do look very similar, I think. Ooh, clank, clank. But Westmoreland here, and this is Old Quilt, and then Baltic. Gorgeous pieces. So this is Toltec, and isn't that lovely? I swear it looks like a bicycle seat to me. Does anybody else see bicycle seat? Like, it just reminds me of a bicycle seat. I don't even know what you would do with it. Now this one does say press cut there, so this could be an actual McKee piece. I'm not sure, but I just think it's really pretty. And all these pieces are very heavy. Like, I mean, for what they are, they're actually quite heavy. Here's another one. Again, that sawtooth edge, Toltec pattern. They're so pretty. Okay, now these are footed bowls because they have their little feet, and this one's very, very translucent. Like, the quality of the glass is more what you would think like Anchor Hawking as far as like translucency. It's just a very kind of a skim milk color, and then this one's more of a whole milk color, like, and they're the same pattern. I don't know if you can tell just how different they are. Maybe you can see better on the bottom. Let me flip these around for you. But see, they're just, I don't know, they're just very, very different qualities of glass. So one could be from McKee, one could be from Kemple. I'm not 100% sure, like I said. But I think the Kemple story is really sweet. So that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. It was a nice quick video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like these kinds of videos where I kind of, you know, briefly discuss the history of a glass company or what have you, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, do all the fun things. I am still working on my drawing for, you know, people that comment and are subscribed to my channel. You will be getting into a drawing, and then I will be sending you guys something beautiful and milky white. So like I said, do all the fun things down below, and as always, remember to collect what you love what you collect, and until next time, bye y'all.